chapter 2 in our 8th class social studies, energy from the sun. So this is the second chapter in our 8th class social studies. The topic name is energy from the sun. Today we can discuss about this topic, energy from the sun. First of all, when we can observe to our earth, we can observe in our earth full of diversity. In English, diversity means differences or variation. Some aspects of diversity in our earth we can observe in oceans, continents, mountains, plateaus and plains. So generally know that land and water, oceans, continents, land. And in lower classes you know that total 5 major oceans and total 7 continents. So some aspects of variation or diversity we can observe oceans, continents, mountains, plateaus and plains. And when we can observe to our earth, some of the regions or some of the areas getting high rainfall, some regions are having scanty rainfall. Scanty means less. So some regions are having high rainfall, some regions scanty rainfall. And when we can observe morning having cool, when it's going to midday it's going to warm, and night time again it's going to cool. So morning having cool, midday is going to warm, and night time again is going to cool position. And some of the months having hot and some of the months having less hot. So some months are having hot, some months are having less hot, and some of the regions are having hot, some of the regions are having cold regions. Cold, you know, in lower classes, polar regions, North Pole and South Pole, cold regions, because that regions are covered with full of ice. So we can observe the temperature differences between one place to another place. So temperature differences we can observe one region to another region. So temperature difference between places also causes winds and rains. So temperature difference between places also causes winds and rains. So generally you know that to grow a plant or to grow a tree or animals, even human beings, we also need water. Without water we cannot live. For the drinking purpose we are taking water, like animals taking water. To grow the plant is taking water. So to grow the plants and trees and animals also need water. We also need water. So plants, animals, it need heat and water. And you can see that some kind of plants it can grow hot regions. Some kind of plants it can grow in hot region, and some kind of plants it can grow in cold regions, but nothing it can grow in very cold regions, because the total area it is covered with full of ice. So nothing it can grow in cold regions. So you know that cold regions, polar regions, North Pole and South Pole. Next we can go to that solar energy and sun's rays. Now we can go to discuss about solar energy and sun's rays. Sun is a principal source. In English, principal means main. Sun is a principal source and powerhouse. Because sun is generate energy. Generate means giving, releasing. So sun is generate energy in the form of light and heat. Light and heat. Generally, the light we can see with our eyes, the heat we can feel. So sun is releasing energy in the form of light and heat. Earth is receiving. Earth is receiving energy from the sun. So sun is releasing energy. That's why we call sun is principal source and sun is powerhouse and sun is generate releasing energy. So energy. The energy constantly emitted by this sun we can call solar radiation. Important. Solar radiation. What is solar radiation? The energy constantly means continuously emitted, released or given out. So the energy constantly, continuously or always emitted, released or given by the sun we can call solar radiation. So sun rays we can observe light and heat and other sources of energy of the sun, UV rays, radio waves, X-rays, UV rays, ultraviolet rays. Next, when solar radiation received by the earth surface. So already you know the definition of solar radiation. Solar radiation received by the earth surface we can call insolation. So solar radiation received by the earth surface we can call insolation. Actually only some portion of energy it is received by the earth surface. 1/3 portion is reflected by the atmosphere. 1/3 portion of energy is reflected by the atmosphere, like a mirror. Now it's going to reflection. So 1/3 energy is reflected by the atmosphere, and further some portion of energy scattered. Scattered means like distributed and absorbed by the atmosphere. That is the reason UV rays does not reach to our surface. UV rays, ultraviolet rays, very dangerous rays. If UV rays, when we can observe in our earth surface, we cannot live. So UV rays reflected by the atmosphere. You know that in the atmosphere having ozone layer. So ozone layer reflected UV rays, very dangerous rays. So some portion of energy absorbed or scattered by the clouds, by the clouds and dust. So only some portion of energy is received by the earth surface. 1/3 portion of energy is reflected by the atmosphere. Next, sun's rays and the earth surface. So before you know that the sun is releasing energy in the form of light and heat, but the sun's rays is not heated the earth surface uniformly. So sun rays not heated the earth surface uniformly. In English, uniform means same, because earth have the curved nature, curve. So you know that like North Pole and South Pole, little pressed position. Actually our earth is a globe position or sphere or round or disc, but little pressed we can observe North Pole and South Pole. So sun rays not hit uniformly on earth surface. So if we can observe same amount of energy fallen small area in equator regions, equator. So same amount of energy fallen small area in equator regions, the energy fallen large area in North Pole and South Pole. So that is the reason we know that equator regions are having hot, like North Pole and South Pole areas are having less hot. And when we can observe the sun rays fall 90 degrees angle on equator, and it's fall slantingly on poles, North Pole and South Pole. So sun rays fall 90 degrees on equator, fall slantingly on poles, we can call angle of incidence. It is called by angle of incidence. And when we can observe the equator regions having hot, polar regions having cold, North Pole and South Pole. But equator regions, when we can observe intense, having hot morning time, but it's going cloudy at midday. So after it's going to cloudy position, equator regions. And when we can see angle of incidence, it increases some months, November and December month. So angle of incidence increases November and December, and angle of incidence decreases May and June month. Next, then we can go to next part. This is the part land and water contrast. So this is the part we can discuss. Land and water contrast. Contrast means differences. So what are the differences? We can observe land and water. Especially when we can observe the differences in temperature or variation in temperature on land and water. So land is a good conductor of heat. Land is good conductor of heat because land is quickly heated and quickly cooled. To go to heat or to go to cool position, land is quickly heated or quickly cooled. But water, oceans, already know that land, continents, water, oceans. The oceans, to go to heat or to go to cool is taking some time. So that is the variation temperature between on land and water. So land quickly heated and quickly cool. The oceans is taking some time to go to heat or to go to cool position. So that is the contrast difference between land and water. Next, greenhouses. So greenhouses, it is the human societies, human beings are built an artificial environment. Artificial is not natural. They build artificial environment to grow some kind of crops like fruits and vegetables. To grow fruits and vegetables, human society built an artificial environment. So here transparent roof. Transparent means very clear. Transparent roof, it can allow the heat. So in that transparent roof, it can allow the heat, but the heat do not escape. The heat, it cannot escape. So in that roofs to grow fruits and vegetables. So greenhouses. So this is today our topic, chapter 2. Energy from the sun. Today we discussed diversities on our earth we discussed, and second we discussed solar energy and sun rays, and we discussed sun's rays and the earth surface, and we discussed land and water contrast, and we discussed about greenhouse. The remaining part we can go to later.